Enshrouded allows the players to lock onto enemies in order to focus their attacks and movement on specific opponents. As the enemy attacks, you can block their action with or without a shield. Blocking an attack costs stamina, and once depleted, attacks cannot be blocked anymore. With the right timing, you can also parry enemy attacks. A successful parry will block incoming attacks but also heavily drain the enemy's stamina. This leads us to the merciless attack, a powerful finisher that can only be used when an enemy's stamina has been depleted. Once the attack becomes available, it can deal a devastating blow to your enemy. In Enshrouded, you will have a variety of powerful weapons to choose from. For example, you can use bows for ranged combat in combination with different types of arrows. There are also wands for faster shots of elemental damage types, as well as staffs for mana-based slower and heavier attacks that can also affect a group of enemies. Apart from swords, there are also heavy melee weapons like hammers and axes, as well as explosives, hopefully offering the weapon of choice for different kinds of playstyles and challenges. Now that you are familiar with the basics, Enshrouded places a strong emphasis on the value of preparation before entering into combat. It is important to focus on extensive preparations, such as resting, cooking various foods by using recipes, as well as potions and other items to gain an advantage in the battle. Keep an eye on our YouTube channel where we will explain this in a bit more detail. As you explore the world of Enshrouded, you will encounter many enemy factions such as the Fel, Scavengers, Wild Beasts and Wildlife. Each of them can be found in unique areas of the game. There are various approaches you can take towards enemy fights. If you're the type of player who prefers to avoid direct combat, you can choose to scout and sneak your way around enemies to avoid alerting them to your presence. For players who enjoy ranged combat, you can also use bows, staffs and wands to attack enemies from a distance. As the world of Enshrouded is a fully voxel-based, you can even dig your way around the obstacles. The possibilities are endless, and it is up to you how you will use this approach. Another way to approach enemy fights in Enshrouded is by using a glider. The glider allows you to fly over and approach enemy camps from above, given the element of surprise. In this section, we'll be discussing the game's leveling system, customization and multiplayer experience. As players explore and survive in the game, they will gain experience points and level up. With each level gained, players will unlock skill points that can be used in a skill tree. For example, there are active abilities such as double jump, sneak attack, and blink, but there are also passive skills that improve your abilities or automatically trigger under certain conditions. All of the skills and players' class directions can be mixed in any way possible, which allows for a variety of different builds. In the world of Enshrouded, crafting basic weapons can be done at the blacksmith and other NPCs, but legendary weapons and armors can only be found through world exploration. Higher rarity weapons have additional perks that can be unlocked through upgrading. Apart from a single player, the game also allows players to play with up to 16 players on a dedicated server in a co-op environment. Playing together with others will allow each player to have a specific role in a team when exploring for resources, armors, weapons, and fighting together. Players can also heal and buff their party members or revive them if they fall to the enemy, enhancing the co-op experience. On your adventures, you will discover NPCs that settle in your base. You will build them a workshop and housing, and they will help you with crafting and send you on quests. Additional crafting stations and NPC props will even further expand your available crafting recipes. On top of that, we have farming, so you can grow all kinds of resources right at home. Just prepare a piece of land with fertile soil, plant seedlings, and harvest your rewards. In terms of materials, we have plenty of different variety to satisfy your needs and the way you want to make your dream builds look. The world of Enshrouded is fully voxel-based, which means you have a lot of creative control to create any kind of building and even shape the terrain to your liking. First, let's build a small bridge and lay down the foundation for our buildings using voxel blueprints. Although you can simply build things block by block, blueprints help to lay out bigger structures a bit faster. They are simply a collection of voxels that can be placed at once, but as they are voxels, they will blend together seamlessly however you stick them together. There are also blueprints of various sizes and shapes to give you plenty of options to block out your dream home. Once you are finished with the general layout, you can tweak and refine using single block tools anytime to create intricate shapes and decorations. After creating the building itself, you can make yourself at home using plenty of props for decorating your rooms. We have more than 100 different props in various styles and materials to start with. If you enjoy hunting, you can also collect trophies from bosses you've defeated to show off your achievements. There are various categories of decorative furniture that will give you a stronger rested buff when you leave home for your next adventure. As you begin your adventure in the world of Enshrouded, you will need to survive in the wilderness amidst the unknown. To do so, you will need to gather resources such as rocks, plants, and logs, honing your crafting skills to create essential items for your daily endeavors. Your very first task is to establish an altar of the flame, claiming your base and the humble beginnings of your future castle. Well, it starts as a hut, but let's dream big. Venturing into the woodlands to gather logs might seem quite easy at first. You will need to chop down some trees, gather logs, but in the process, you must watch out for the lively wildlife. They won't be impressed by your bare fists. The best solution right now is to run away and craft yourself some basic gear, like a sturdy shield, trusty wooden club, and come back for some action. You can now defeat the wolves, gather experience, loot resources, and some raw food. Now, building a first basic shelter is the next important step for survival. Use a workbench to craft a construction hammer and some building blocks. If you want to learn more about building and terraforming in Enshrouded, you can check out the video available in the top right corner of your screen or find the link in the description down below. As we finish the construction of our very first cozy hut, in order to rest, we must make sure to craft a not so comfy bed from the workbench. You can place it inside, and after a hot days of work, a good night's sleep is in order. This will give you a rested buff. Now, the real adventure begins. Your first quest, finding the blacksmith. There is a bridge that would get us to the vault where we might find the blacksmith, but unfortunately it's been destroyed, so we need to go through the vault in order to reach the other side. The shroud has engulfed all of the world and we only have limited time to survive within it until we die, so we have to resurface quickly enough before our time runs out. The remaining time can be seen on the new HUD element below our compass. As you are in the shroud, keep an eye on the timer. Your protection against the fog won't last forever. Find the hourglass capsules to extend your exploration time and discover secrets hidden within the shroud. As we approach our quest location, stealth is your ally when approaching enemy camps. You may take a different approach at first, but remember, one of the best ways is to sneak around, avoid detection, and surprise your enemies with an attack from behind for extra damage. You have conquered your opponents, gathered loot, and gained experience. Our next step is to unlock the secrets of the ancient vault. And as a reward, we will be able to set the blacksmith free to join our ranks. We can now teleport back to our cozy home by using the map and fast travel. After we teleport, it would be the perfect time to expand our house and make sure we have enough space for our NPCs and crafting stations. Now, we have to make sure to give blacksmith a sheltered spot. By giving a roof over your blacksmith's head, you will be able to unlock more crafting recipes. Now, let's upgrade the armor. One of the very first armors that you will be able to unlock is the very fashionable fur armor. Let's go into the woods for some hunting. Hunting becomes an exhilarating challenge, and nothing screams adventure like wielding a bow. Sneak up on those speedy animals and aim for the head for the critical shots. As you kill the wildlife, you will be able to collect necessary resources, such as animal fur, raw food and bones. Now, we need to find or craft a campfire to unleash our culinary skills and cook up a feast of delicious foods. When you cook food, you have to be careful not to overcook it, otherwise you will be eating charcoal for days, which I can't imagine is good for you. This is just a basic way to prepare food while you're out on adventures. You will be able to cook more advanced recipes at home. Now, the perks. Check your status tab in the character menu to see what effects different types of food have on you. You can also see if you are well rested or if there are any negative effects such as being cold or poisoned, for example. Our next quest is to explore the Elixir Well. Let's use our glider to get there quickly. Now, as you've been leveling up through the game, you will be unlocking skill points to customize your character as you please. No restrictions here. Mix and match classes and dive into endless fun, and remember, you can respec later, so feel free to experiment. Let's start with unlocking the evasion attack. Combining a glider approach towards your enemies with an evasion attack can be extremely helpful with not losing any momentum. This will let you unleash a devastating attack upon landing. As an example, you can take a high position by one of the elixir's walls, scout around to see where the enemies are, and once you are ready, drop in on them to unleash a devastating attack. On the approach of the well entrance, those mysterious return beacons are your saving grace. Replenish your time in the shroud and revive next to one if the worst happens. Let's climb down and explore the depths of the Elixir Well. With bravery and skill, you will face a daunting boss in the well. To do that, you can use different weapons such as swords, axes, and for range combat, bows, staffs, and wands. Remember, mixing and matching any weapon is possible.